Riots are continuing in the West Bank following Washington's controversial recognition of Jerusalem as the Israeli capital. 4 Palestinian protesters were killed and dozens more injured in clashes with police.
Palestinian is said to be in a critical condition after allegedly stabbing an Israeli defense soldier earlier today at a checkpoint, we understand, in the West Bank town of Ramallah. While here in Jerusalem there were a small number of protesters who spent most of the day shouting Allah Akbar. Now they were generally peaceful, although there were some small but intense scuffles between Palestinian protesters and the Israeli security services here, including we saw footage of what appears to be a woman being punched in the face by a member of the security services. In addition to that, that small group of women who were holding that protest for a number of hours actually were at one point preventing Jewish people from being able to leave and go up the steps here at Damascus Gate. And as a result of that, the security services came down and forcibly removed them, pushing them up the steps and away from this area. So the tensions still remain. They're bubbling, not just under the surface, but over the surface. People incredibly unhappy by that decision by Donald Trump more than a week ago. Now, on the latest developments of that, we've heard also that Turkey and Lebanon have decided that they are going to open embassies for Palestine here in East Jerusalem. That comes off the back of that extraordinary meeting that was held in Istanbul just a few days ago, where it was announced by the Organization of Islamic Cooperation that they would recognize East Jerusalem as being the official capital of Palestine, in direct contradiction from what the USA did more than a week ago by recognizing Jerusalem as being the capital of Israel. Therefore, the tensions still remain, and it seems now it's not just a tension here between Israelis and Palestinians, but this is a tension that's now expanding to many other countries in the world.
Yeah, as Charlotte mentioned, protests in solidarity with Palestine are being held across the Middle East. In Jordan's capital, Amman, crowds demonstrated outside the US Embassy after Friday prayers. While in Lebanon, hundreds of people gathered outside the UN building, waving Palestinian flags. Protests have been raging in Gaza as well. One march was largely peaceful, but saw protesters burn US and Israeli flags. Elsewhere in Gaza, as local journalist Hind Kudari reports, things turned violent quickly.
We are still at Nahl Oz buffer zone and tensions are increasing. The Israeli army are throwing tear gas bombs, as you can see, actually raids of tear gas bombs. They're also throwing live bullets. We can hear the live bullets. As you can see, tear gas bombs are filling the place. People are running. The ambulance is here, taking the injury. Since the morning, there were lots of protests and demonstrations all over Gaza Strip. There was a million march all over Gaza Strip. The Palestinian factions and the Palestinian leaders called their supporters and the Palestinian citizens to come to the confrontations, to confront with the Israelis, to express their anger against Donald Trump's decision.
We also got some interesting footage. The Israeli army has admitted using undercover agents to arrest Palestinian protesters. So in this video, you can see how several people dressed as civilians help IDF officers in riot gear to detain demonstrators. You can also see that they turned out to be armed, drawing their guns as soon as that arrest started.